Gretzky was the greatest. I really believe that. The greatest player who ever played the game. But the greatest goal scorer could be Ovechkin. Every year, he makes the argument that he is. And while there are many detractors, many people who don't like him, there is an increasing number of fans who do. And an increasing number of fans who seem to think that he's got a shot at getting to the all-time record for goals. Now, this is his 8th 50-goal season. He's currently sitting at 51 as I record this. And if he finishes with 51, that's an excellent total. He was at one point this season on pace for about 60, but let's be realistic, 50. Bossy and Gretzky both hit 50 goals 9 times. Now, I have said before, and I'll say it again, Mike Bossy, likely the greatest goal scorer to ever play. If not for a bad back, he could have had 14 50-goal seasons. He was a machine out there. And those 9 50-goal seasons, that was in 9 years. So what Ovechkin's done over 15 years is impressive. I'm not trying to take away from it. But Mike Bossy, his career just wasn't long enough. Because if he'd played longer, he could have scored 1,000 goals in his career. Really could have. Gretzky sits with 894. He's your number one guy. So if you're chasing him, and Ovechkin is, he's sitting at 658. He currently sits 236 goals back at Gretzky. Now, the trick is, and I've said before, I do think Ovechkin can catch and perhaps pass Gretzky, but he's going to have to play a lot of time. He's going to have to play at least another 5 years, and he really can't have his goals per game level drop a whole lot. Gretzky over his career scored .601 goals per game. Right now, Ovechkin's at .608. He's ahead of Gretzky, but just barely. And so he's going to have to keep playing. Gretzky played till almost 1,500 games in his career. Ovechkin right now at 1,082. It's a long time ahead. Now, on his side is the fact that he isn't a guy who's had to deal with the injuries that some other guys have had to deal with over their careers, and it has definitely helped him get to this point. So, let's say 5 40-goal seasons, he can get there. So it sounds like a lot, but when you consider that Ovechkin, as he gets older, his training regimen seems to change, and he just seems to get better, it's impressive. Now, for overall points, he sits right now at 1,211. He's number 44 on the all-time list in the NHL for that. He can't catch Gretzky there. Gretzky sits with, it might as well be 1,000,000 points. Game-winning goals. Jágr has 135 in his career. Ovechkin sits with 107. So he's 28 game-winning goals away from being the NHL's all-time leader in that category. Power play goals, he's on the verge. Andreychuk 274 in his career. Ovechkin 247. So 27 power play goals from now. That's what, 2 more years? He'll be your all-time leader in power play goals. To put it into perspective, the next highest power play goal guy is Patrick Marleau with 169. That is how far ahead Ovechkin is than his closest currently playing peer. And Marleau's played a ton more games than Ovechkin has to get those 169 power play goals. And they were the only 2 I saw in the top 50 of the all-time power play goals list that are active. So, yeah, Ovechkin will have that record. Should he pass Andreychuk, he'll have that record the rest of his life, is my guess. Now, when you're looking at the all-time leaders for goals per game, Mike Bossy, 0.762. So the .762 is significantly higher than the Ovechkin and Gretzky total, and that's why people will make the argument of, hey, greatest goal scorer ever. But it doesn't end there. Mario Lemieux had a .754 goals per game average, and people will tell you, if not for a bad back, Mario Lemieux is right there with Gretzky as the greatest player of all time, and this guy sadly says the same. I was not a Mario Lemieux fan when he played. Couldn't stand him. But, you know, I will give him his dues. He was the best combination of size and skill I ever saw. He was a beast out there. And, you know, eventually teams wore him down, and his back was so bad he couldn't tie his own skates. But he still put up .754 goals per game. Pavel Bure. So there's people who point out that Bure's in the Hall of Fame, and he shouldn't be in there. He didn't play long enough. His goals per game of .623 over his career, it's a big part of the reason that he's in there. He was a 60-goal scorer every year, and when healthy, and you get the feeling that if he had been able to remain healthy throughout his career, he'd be up there with Ovechkin and Gretzky too. Brett Hull is noteworthy, 0.584. His father Bobby, .574. So Brett gets that little bit of bragging rights against his father. His father turned around and say, in your day they were handing goals out. My day you had to earn them. Tim Kerr. I underlined him because Tim Kerr's in the THG Hall of Fame. .574. Kerr, another one that if not for injury, we're talking about his goal scoring prowess a lot more. He would definitely be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Rick Martin, .561, and Phil Esposito, .559. So Ovechkin is ahead of a great deal of Hall of Famers, and he is absolutely, inarguably, one of the greatest goal scorers ever. For me, I currently have him as, he's probably the best goal scorer ever. But Bossy, Gretzky, Lemieux, Bobby Hull. There's a lot of competition for that. And, of course, Gordie Howe played a ton of time, but he did get over 800 goals, so there could be an argument in there as well. I would totally understand people who would say Mario was the best. I would not have a problem with that whatsoever. Mario in his heyday was just magical out there. And, again, we went from the great one to the magnificent one. And right now, the grade 8, he's putting up record-setting goal totals. Can he keep it up? So that's the question I have. Has this season changed your mind at all about whether or not Ovechkin can catch Gretzky? Or for those who say it'll never happen, does it still never happen? Or have you been swayed to the idea of, 236 goals, he can do that? Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.